It's live now. You can begin.
Okay. Is the fire chief here?
I see the deputy chief is here.
Deputy chief? All right, great. Okay. I'd like to call to order the regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees. It's a virtual meeting via Zoom for Tuesday, September 8th. Let the record reflect that it is 6:36. Madam Clerk, can you start with the roll?
Trustee Denton,
Present.
trustee Steve,
Present.
trustee House will be joining us later. Trustee Brown,
Present.
trustee Holmes,
Here.
and trustee Henyard.
Present.
Okay, we have all the trustees here except for trustee House. We have a quorum. What about department heads? Who's on there?
I see our, in addition to our village attorney and village engineer, our administrator is on. Again, the deputy chief, and I'm seeing some other numbers I didn't recognize. So if the other department heads I haven't mentioned would want to identify themselves. Or not.
I'm here. I was unmuting myself.
Sharon,
Yes.
thank you. Anyone else?
I'm here.
Chris, thank you.
What about Elizabeth?
Elizabeth is on.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am on.
Okay. What about Sonia?
I spoke with Sonia at 5:30 and reminded her, she said she was going to be on.
Yeah, she texted me about 6:25, said she was gonna be on. Okay. All right, why don't you take the roll, Madam Clerk?
Already did, Mayor.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you? Okay. Deputy Chief Rush, why don't you lead us in prayer tonight?
Okay, I shall do so. May we bow our virtual heads. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this virtual meeting. We thank you for all you've done and all you've yet to do. We ask that you preside over this meeting and guide us and teach us and keep us. And we ask this in your almighty name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, if we can continue with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
United
States of
States
America
And to the
and the
republic
republic
for which it stands,
and
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
all.
Thanks. Madam Clerk, general announcements.
That would be up to the board. Mayor, I just have one announcement under village clerk's report. So any other members of the board who have announcements should do so at this time.
Yes, I have one. Hi, good evening, everyone. Trustee Henyard here. I just want to announce to everybody that coronavirus is still around, and I want everybody to still practice social distancing and wash your hands, please. Keep that sanitizer in your car, in your purse, ladies, on your key ring. And then also, I've been getting complaints about businesses not following wearing your mask when they go to the laundromat, for instance. I'm getting a ton of complaints up there. So if Chief is on here, can you check that out? Also, they stated the people were smoking weed at the front desk. So I'll send you the text that I received. Thank you. End of my announcements.
Okay, next citizens address, and it's limited to the agenda items. Giovanni? Hello, Giovanni?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Are you getting anything?
And I don't have anything yet.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the village clerk's report.
Thank you, Mayor. On the agenda is a request for approval of the following minutes: the August 3rd, 2020 regular board meeting and the August 27th, 2020. Excuse me, that's an error there. That should be special board meeting for the 27th. And I'd ask for a motion to approve either one or both together.
Make a motion to approve both minutes together.
Is there a second?
A second.
It's been motioned by trustee Steve, seconded by trustee Denton to approve did you say bundle them, trustee Steve?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call.
Trustee Denton,
Aye.
trustee Steve,
Aye.
trustee House, not here, trustee Brown,
Aye.
trustee Holmes,
Aye.
trustee Henry.
Aye.
Motion carried, 5 ayes. Next thing is item B, communications distribution request, resident Stanley Cup. Madam Clerk.
Yes, that is on the agenda at the request of Mr. Culp. However, I realized too late that I had neglected to forward his email request to the board in the board packet. That's completely my fault. I do apologize to Mr. Culp and to the board. I will send it to everyone tomorrow and ask that you review his request. It's together with Mrs. Culp, and let me know if there is a consensus or if anyone objects to this. It's a request to distribute literature and certain named locations and times.
Okay. All right.
And Mayor, the other item I had, I just wanted to call residents, everyone's attention to the fact that, not the fact that we're having an election in November, I think we're all mindful of that, but that the county clerk's office recently mailed to registered voters mail-in ballot applications for those who wish to vote by mail, but not everyone, I'm hearing, received them. So they are available to anyone who wishes to vote online. It's required that you submit an application to the county in order to receive a ballot. The application is on the clerk's website, the county clerk's website, and it's www.cookcountyclerk.com. It pops up on the home page. And also, well, you can also apply for it online or download a paper copy and print it and mail it in the old-fashioned way. But also, we do have copies of the application here in the Village Hall for anyone who wishes to pick up one.
Okay. All right. Good. So next thing on the agenda is an engineer's report.
Good evening, Mayor, Madam Clerk, trustees, and department heads, and all residents listening. Just 3 items on my report today. An update on the DCO grant that we had submitted in June 30th. There were 350 applications, and they won't make a recommendation of award until the end of the year. And we had submitted a $1.7 million grant for improvements to the 3 million gallon potable water storage tank. That's the elevated water tower that's on Ingle and Greenwood. Also, the next item, we did receive bids for the CDBG project on Friday, August 14th. We'll go into that more detail. That's an agenda item. And the last item I have is that the Illinois Housing Development Authority has a grant that's available. It's due at the end of the month. And that is for maintenance, acquisition, rehab, demolition of abandoned residential properties throughout the community. That's all I have this evening, and I will entertain any questions that the board may have.
How much is the grant for the abandoned property demolition?
The maximum amount that you can apply for is for $250,000. The village has been successful in previous years getting funding from the Illinois Housing Department Authority.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda will be the committee reports. Finance trustee House is not here. Trustee Brown, housing.
Good evening, Mayor and the residents. I do not have that information readily available right now, but I will make sure I have it ready and available for the next meeting. I do apologize.
Okay, thank you. Next, police and fire trustee Holmes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Good evening, residents, board members, Mayor. from the fire department, we had a total of fires. We have 162. This is from January 2020 to August 31st, 2020. Emergency medical service, 2,342. Hazardous condition, 173. Service calls, good intent, 185. Fire alarms, detector activation, 240. Severe weather, natural disasters, 4. Special incidents, 2. Technical rescues, 11. Total of 3,376. On the police side, I do not have a report yet, but be mindful to be safe. But we did have 2 people shot recently, male and a female. The male did succumb to his injuries. Then last month, we did have a female on 147th and Sibley crossing the street, and it turned into a fatality. That's the end of my report.
Okay, Public Works, Trustee Steve.
Good evening, everyone. This is a report from Public Works. I think the main thing that sticks out to me is a lot of things. I'm not going to read it all, but in the midst of all the storm that we had and trees, Public Works have taken care of 81 incidents involving trees and limbs from the severe storm. And I talked to Public Works today. We will have a Public Works committee meeting sometime next week, and they're gearing up, getting ready for the winter time. They're getting ready for the winter time and things that they need before the winter time starts. You're gonna have water main breaks. You need trucks and everything getting ready for the winter time. So I will have a committee meeting on that coming up. And again, if residents do have a question or concern, you can always call 708-201-3240. That's it for my Public Works committee report. Also, is Sonia London on here?
Yes, I'm on here.
All right, quick, well, not quick, but the question and concern in dealing with the water department. Could you give us an update on the bills and what's going on in the water department? And if anybody got questions, you can ask questions.
As of to Friday, all of the bills for District 2 and 3 has went out. We're currently working on commercial bills. They're in industrials. They'll be going out on the 10th, no later than the 11th. So as far as the water bills, we are all caught up. We get them out to the residents as of Friday.
Okay. What can be done to ensure that they go out on time? We've been talking about this for a while. Is there anything that can be done to assure this will not happen?
Well, so what's going on is, as far as the water bills going out delayed, we had the layoff. So we only had the 2 meter readers that was reading. So when I got the bills, I received the bills this week. So that's when I was able to bill. So the bills went to the printing company on Friday. They should hit the mail by tomorrow. But when we receive the readings from Public Works, and that's when we submit them out to the residents. So it's just a manpower issue right now. So that's the reason why your bills are delayed. Okay. And then it takes about 3 to 4 days for the printing company to release them to the resident.
Okay, well, I have a Public Works committee meeting come up, and we will dive deeper into the concerns of the water department.
Okay.
Next is the Melanie Fitness report. I wanted to give everybody.
I got a question, if I could, before you move on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My question was about the billing. I did send an email to her. She did respond. Thank you, Sonia. But my question too is, why is it going out late? I know you just said the layoffs, but they was due out before the layoffs. So I'm trying to get clarity to why they still didn't go out before we laid anybody off.
Right. No, so the bills before the layoff was going out. Keep in mind that the water department went from 2 to 10 to completely shut down, to being shut down a couple of times due to Corona. We've had some exposure over there. So it was a couple of weeks that we were shut down, as well as the meter readers was laid off, just a couple incidents. The meter readers are now called back. So we were able to, the last week, I think last week or 2 weeks from now, if Matt's on here, he can tell you when they came back. And so I got the bills from them this week, the readings from them this week. So I was able to bill.
So,
Okay.
so for the bills, when they due out by the end of July?
So you have, so we got a couple districts. We got 1, 2, and 3. So I know District 3 just went out. We had some bills that was due at the end of July that didn't get out until August. So whenever we receive the readings from Public Works, the bills usually go out following like 2-3 days after receiving the readings.
Okay. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave it alone, but I just wanted to know because I know
Yeah,
they
you
was
had
due for
District
July.
2 bills. Yeah,
District 3
2
is what I'm
bills was,
talking about. Because that's what I emailed you. So yeah, that's the
So-
complaints I got. District 3 didn't get theirs.
District 3 just went out on, well, just got sent to the printing company on Friday. They were due at the end of August. At the end of August, and they just went out on Friday. District 2 was due at the end of July,
So
which
how
went
much
out.
more time did they get?
So the bills that went out on Friday, they're not due until September 28th.
Okay. Okay. And then who did a company come out and clean your office for COVID? The water
That's-
department?
I wasn't there due to the exposure, but I was told that a company did come out. So I don't, you have to verify that with Elizabeth.
Okay, I'll bring it up under the bills. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, this is Trustee Brown. I have one question. Now, from my understanding, I was told that District 2, the bills are due at the beginning of July, and District 3 at the beginning of August. And District 3 did not. As of September, there still wasn't a bill sent out for District 3, from my understanding. Now, I did talk to the meter reader, and he stated that it would still take him a couple of days to complete those readings. Again, those folks should have been back by then, so that District 3 could have been out. And
Okay,
I'm telling, from my understanding, I was told it's due the beginning of August, not the end of August. So if I'm don't have the correct information, can someone please correct me?
So you're incorrect. The readings are due at the beginning of August, the 1st through the 15th. The bills go out at the end of August. The meter readers were behind on the readings, so we got them on. Got them on Thursday. I was able to get them to the printing company on Friday, so the bill should be in the mail. If not today, they should be in the mail tomorrow. So the readings are due at the beginning of the month, and the bills follow at the end of the month. So the bills come out anywhere after the 25th. So the bills for District 3 went out on Friday, and they should have been out at the end of August. So they are a little delayed because they didn't get out until Friday.
Okay.
Okay, so was that not due because of the readings being delayed? Is the reason why they went out Friday? So we can't really say if the residents got the bill as of today because they were sent out Friday.
So the bills went to the printing company on Friday. They should be in the mail today. Be hitting the mail between today. From my email from the printing company, I asked them to confirm they received the bills on Friday. They did confirm. I know Monday was a holiday, so they should be in the mail. So District 3 should be getting their bills this week. The bills was not due till the end of the month, and the readings are due at the beginning. So they wasn't due at the beginning of the month.
So again, this month we will be not collecting late fees again this month, correct?
So we won't apply late fees until later. So they're about 8 days late. So the late fees won't apply to about 2 weeks after. So we won't apply them exactly. We will give them extension, but the bills are not due until September 28th.
Okay.
All right.
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question before you move on.
Any further questions?
Sonia, do you know or have any understanding why the meter readers are late with the reading?
Yes. So the meter readers, we were only had 2 full-time meter readers reading the whole district. The other 2, from my understanding, was laid off and they didn't come back until last week. So that caused a delay on receiving the readings from the meter readers.
The ones that you had, the ones that are reading the meters that are here, who keeps account on how many meters they read a day?
So they're able to pull reports. You can probably speak with Matt regarding that. He's over the meter readers currently. So he'll be able to tell you what they're reading a day. We should be able to get a report on that.
Okay. Any other questions?
All right, any further? Okay,
So-
we'll move on
Mayor,
to the-
may I be recognized? I do have the information for my report. May I be recognized?
Let
me finish this. Finish Melanie Fitness.
yeah,
Okay, then.
and then,
Okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
Melanie
Trustee.
Fitness report, getting everybody an update. We are working on, I want to, people who are watching, who see this, thank you for being patient with us on the refunds. Now, we had a few people coming in, it's like hit or miss. So we're gathering a report. We kind of communicate, we're communicating with the actual company. So looking for this, my next is to get the whole report to everybody and have to individually call people to make them refunds. The second thing on the sale of the Melanie Fitness. Now, and when I have my agenda meeting, we will go deeper into it. But we've had some walkthroughs. We've had some people who, of course, and which I'm learning is that a lot of people can say, I want to do this, I would do this, but they never proved their funding. So we had somebody who we thought was concrete, but they never proved their funding. The last person not the last person, the most recent person is Pastor Chris Dodd. I don't know if you know Pastor Chris Dodd. What's that, New Community Church?
Community Church.
Community Church. They just did a walk through him and his whole board. And we're just waiting to hear back from them, but they seem very interested. Like I said, it was about 10 of them. And we did a walk through the whole gym. So that's where we're at. The next thing is we're going to discuss at their agenda meeting, do we want to get a broker to put it out there? Because if we get a broker, we're already going to take a hit on the price because of COVID. And if we do want to get a broker, because that's another 10% commission. So we're going to discuss that at our Melanie Fitness committee meeting moving forward. But we do have people who are definitely interested. And the most concrete one is Pastor Chris Dodd. And everybody who knows him, you can always talk to him if you see him and just ask him what's going on with it. I just talked to him. So that's where it's at with Melanie Fitness Center right now. That's the end of my report. And thank you.
Okay, Trustee
Hey.
Steve.
I got one
Thank
thing.
you.
I got one
Trustee,
question, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Trustee, I was just wondering, did you post the sale of Melanie's on our website or put it on Channel 4 so people know it's for sale?
The request for proposals on our website. And then I did the video that I did explaining that is for sales on Channel 4. And that's on all social media sites. But the next step is actually to get a broker. And the broker that I think I'm gonna bring to the committee meeting is actually one from Dalton. So that's the next step. But that's where we put it out on through our media sites. But that's it.
Okay. Trustee Brown,
I'm here, Mayor.
go ahead. You
Okay,
wanna go
for the
with your
housing
report?
department, as is inspections, we had 19, one board up. Rental licenses, we had 26. In sale inspections, we had 22. So that is for the month of August. That's the end of my
Okay.
report, Mayor.
All right. Okay, great. Thanks. Moving right along, we will have the next thing on the agenda is the corporate bills. Chris?
Yes.
Okay, Trustee House is not here. So you want to read off the corporate bills?
Sure. Are we gonna do it like normal where we do the 2 corporate bills together, or you guys want to do separately?
We'll do it like we normally do.
Okay. So the first corporate bills will be Register 170 with corporate payments of $14,045.84. Water fund of $418,106.66, and Homewood disposal of $685,833.34 for a total of $1,117,985.84. And then register 171 with corporate payments of $1,424,739.10. Gross payroll for 8/14 of $322,250.44. Gross payroll of 8/28 of $323,041.61. Melanie Fitness Center register 171 of $1,492.98, with gross payroll for the 14th and the 28th of $855.11, for a total corporate payments of $2,073,234.35.
Okay, can I get a motion on the corporate bills to pay?
Motion to approve corporate bills.
Is there a second?
Second,
Who was the second by? Trustee Denton?
trustee Brown.
Trustee Brown, okay. Okay, great. Motion first and second. Could I get any discussion on this?
Yes, page 9, Chris.
Of which one?
Page 9 on the warrant list. What am I on? Yeah, I'm on the warrant list. Register 171.
Okay.
Okay, South Suburban Region Chamber for 375 membership. What's that?
That's membership for, I think it's like a Chamber of Commerce. Something, a similar type item. One moment.
It was a Chamber of Commerce, the Black Chamber of Commerce that was voted on, was the last special meeting, or I believe it was. Well, annual membership fee.
Okay, so we just became a part of them. Is that what you're saying? You said we just voted on?
I think they just voted on a special board meeting last.
I wasn't at the special board meeting, so
Yes.
that's why I'm asking. So
That's fine.
all right, so
Any
you
other questions?
just became a member? That's why I'm lost at. Mayor.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You
My
hear me?
next, yeah, I heard you. My next one is
Yes.
about
Can you-
deconstruction. Is right under that for $25,000. What project are we doing that we paid $25,000 for?
Trustee, that was the 2018 CDBG, and it was for 256,000.
Okay, you say it was for what now?
It was for the 2018 CDBG project. So last year's CDBG project.
We had to pay this amount?
Yep, that's what, that was the cost of the improvements and everything that went along with the project. You guys received, I believe it was 200,000, and then this was the payment, the expense that you guys got reimbursed for.
Okay. The next one is the Chicago Tribune for $37. What's that? What we listing?
I don't know.
Speak to that. I'm not sure which public notice this one relates to, but from time to time, we're required by statute. This may have been the one for the recent CDBG bid opening. And it's payable to the Chicago Tribune, but notice is published in the Daily Southtown, which the Tribune owns.
Okay, and then for Dennis, for the attorney down below, are we having court now still? I just want to know, because we paid them what, $4,000 or $4,500? Are we having court? So what was that for?
I couldn't tell you if guys having court, because that part I don't know. I know this was for his services for the month of June and July.
Okay, I raised questions before about this at the last warrant, so I'm a little lost. So somebody need to help me out with that. Because if we study paying for something, we're not having court. I'm trying to understand what service are we paying for. So that's 2 times we didn't pay, and nobody can make clarity of court or not.
Having Did you hear that, Trustee Brown? Sorry, Henry.
You broke up.
I said we're having housing court. Hello?
Okay, now say it, Mayor.
He's breaking up. He's breaking up. You're breaking up, man.
I said we're in housing court and there is some traffic court going on. Yes.
Okay, and my last thing is location finders.
That is your TIF 2. That's your Sibley Woodlawn TIF. That's one of your guys' payments.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Denton,
Aye.
Hope you all heard me. I said I had a question before we move on.
We couldn't hear you. Okay, go ahead, Trustee Holmes.
Page 4. Ingalls Occupational Medicine. Was this for injured employees or what? One was $100 and one is $130.
They're probably physicals for new applicants.
Yes,
Are there
they're
physicals for new
physicals. We have
applicants,
to
or they
send
could be?
new hires off for physicals.
Too many people are talking at one time.
Go ahead, Chris. Answer it, Chris.
They could be either physicals for return to work or physicals for a new hire.
Trustee Holmes, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard him. Down below, traffic control and protection, 441. Where was that done at? It says village sign.
So the location, I don't know off the top of my head. I can pull the invoice and send it to you if that would help.
Yeah, send me that invoice, and also down from it, send me the invoice with every. I'm looking at 4 street repairs. I would like to know where those street repairs were done at. We got one for 500 and some of that, one for 14, 11, and 10. Yeah, I like to know because we got a lot of streets where the lights have been done and then went right back out. So I would like for you to send that over to me too.
Just for my clarification, you're asking for the invoices for Mead Electric, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And where that work was done.
Trustee, just as a full disclosure, I'm not at the village until Friday this week, so that's when I'll be able to send you the invoices.
That's a 10-4. I got it written down, so I'll look forward to it.
Anything else?
Can I be recognized?
Go ahead, Sharon.
I just wanted to just piggyback off of Trustee Henry's question in regards to court. So housing court reflected back as of June and July. And I'm pretty sure in regards to police court as well as the red light ticket. So we did resume court proceedings back starting in June.
Okay. Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome.
All right. Anything else? All right, Madam Clerk, why don't we resume with the
yeah,
roll
I'll start
call.
over. Trustee Denton,
Aye.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee House,
Aye.
you're here. All right, Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee Holmes. Trustee Holmes,
I'm having trouble with this Zoom going in and out, but if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you now. I can relate. And that's aye. Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay. All right, old business. Item A, the approval of the bid 2019 Community Development Block Grant, the CDBG, Street Resurfacing Program. May I get a motion on this? Approve this?
Make a
Hello?
motion to
Motion to
make a
approve
motion
the
to
bid for 2019 Community Development Block Grant.
Okay. And Trustee Steve, I heard you say something also.
I second it.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor. The first and second motion to approve the 2019 Community Block Grant, commonly known as CDBG grant. Any discussion on this matter?
I would defer to the village engineer, Mr. Mayor, regarding the bid that's being accepted.
I'm not sure if he's still there. Ryan?
Yes, I'm still here, Mayor.
Okay.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, I will be more than welcome to answer them.
Yeah, I got a question. When you put this in, did you put which streets are going to be resurfaced, or how did you submit it?
Yeah, we have to go off of a HUD map, and the HUD map shows which streets are 51% and above low to mod. So the entire village is not eligible to have improvements in these specific locations. So we pick the worst streets out in these small areas that are eligible. Again, there are small little pockets throughout the entire village that fit the 51% and over eligibility to be submitted. The list of streets that we have were submitted last year. The program is kind of like a year behind. So we submit them the previous year, we get the award approval, we put the plans and specifications out, and then we bid them. So that's how it typically works.
Okay, when you say we pick the streets, who is we?
I do not pick them. Matt and myself ride around and look at the worst streets. That's what we do. And again, there's only a small pocket of area that is eligible for CDBG. The entire village is not. There are just a couple of different pockets throughout the village that is eligible for this funding.
Okay, because my concern is I didn't want y'all to do the same thing y'all did before, and the Mayor Street got paved, which got 3 to 4 houses on it, and a block didn't get paved that got 30 houses on it. I want it to be fair. So that's why I'm asking you who picked it, and why don't y'all ever bring this across the board and let the board decide which properties is the worst? So it don't be no people hooking up their friends, or you doing only the mayor block.
Well, Trustee, I'm just gonna say, we're not gonna go back and forth on this issue. It's picked scientifically, and that's the way we're gonna continue to move. Okay.
Mayor, I wasn't directing it to you to go back and forth. I was directing it to Ron for a reason, because I don't want it to be that way. I would love a block to get paved that actually needs.
He explained it to you.
And I'm asking.
That's the way it's been done for years.
Mayor, I'm asking, moving forward with anything like that, can y'all bring it across the board? That's all I'm asking.
Moving forward. Matt.
I have a question for if I could be recognized. Hello?
Trustee Holmes?
Yeah, I have a question for Ron, if I can be recognized. Something in this Zoom, I'll be glad when we can get off of the Zoom and get back. But Ron, do you know approximately how many streets are going to be paved?
We have 5 streets listed. And these streets are actually part of the grant application. So the grant application goes to the board with the location map and the locations for approval prior to it even being submitted. But yeah, there are 5 streets that are listed to be improved for this year. And we try to do as much as we can with the limited amount of funding that we receive.
Can we know what those streets are?
Absolutely. They were included in your packet.
Okay. moving forward, I wish we can just come together, pull all the legislators together. I know I done said this over and over again, and try to complete the complete village of Dalton. This five blocks is good, but it's not good enough for the constituents.
Trustee Holmes, it's approximately $50,000 per block. Where do we get the money?
The same way the legislators get their votes to get elected. We can pull them around the table. They got to work with us. If we can come and enforce in numbers, we can talk to them about approving a package to get it done. I mean, we can't just keep rolling over and sugarcoating it, and every year the streets are getting worse and worse. Not trying to go back and forth with you, Mayor, but we got elected officials higher than us need to take care of this village of Dalton. Simple as that.
Every year we go to the legislators and try to get funding through capital funding. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So much severe deficiency in funding, not for just Dalton, but for around the state. And we have tried to secure in the past to get additional money to make sure that our roads are done. We have not been successful. So if you know some legislators that you think can get it done, that would be a benefit for the village.
Yep, we'll start working on it. Or either just start working on the changes with them. I mean, they're getting it done everywhere else. We got to fight for what we got here. That's us as a unit, complete board, even you. We just have to go at it. We just have to get them around the table. If we're demanding what we need to get the village done in Dalton, I'm not talking about no outside other village or other city, talking about Dalton. Those who are representing Dalton, we need to get Dalton where it's supposed to be. And we have to work as a unit under one umbrella to get it done. I can't do it.
Okay, you can get it. Well, all I'm saying is that we've tried every year for capital money. And one of the priorities has been our streets. The other priority has been sewage and flooding. And we've been somewhat successful on the flooding side. But in regards to the streets and infrastructure, we haven't been as successful in getting a lot of capital money to get things done. So if you can make that happen, it'd be a great benefit for the village. Okay, any further questions on this? All right, roll call, Madam Clerk.
On the motion to approve the 2019 Community Development Block Grant CDBG Street Resurfacing Program bid, Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Steve?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes? Trustee Holmes, are you there?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. The Zoom is going in and out. Aye.
Thank you. Trustee Henyard?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 6 ayes. Did I hear Trustee House?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Madam Clerk, why don't you note when Trustee House joined us?
I was not aware myself, Mayor, until he voted on the corporate bills.
Okay.
So I believe since he was
Great.
not here when the motion was made on the corporate bills, it was shortly thereafter.
Okay. All right, next item is item B, ordinance number 20-012, approving a parking variance for Sibley Crossings Shopping Center. Is there a motion on this?
This is an ordinance, Mayor.
Can I get a motion on item B on the ordinance number 20-012? Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to pass ordinance number.
There is no motion, or can you hear me?
I make a motion to pass.
Okay.
Ordinance number 20-012.
Okay, is there a second?
Second by Trustee Brown.
Okay, motion. Okay, it's been motion and second to approve ordinance number 20-012, approving a parking variance for Sibley Crossing. Any discussion on this?
Yes.
Ryan Smith, go ahead.
Okay, I just want somebody to
Go ahead,
explain.
trustee Henry.
I want someone to explain this because what I'm gathering from it is they want to utilize less parking spaces than what's already allowed. So can someone elaborate more? Or I don't know who put this on the agenda. Whoever put it on the agenda, can they talk about the agenda item?
This was made by a request by the developer for the special variance to the board, which is a little bit different than the formal board procedure, but because the board does not have an active zoning board of appeals, it goes straight to the Board of Trustees, and it's a matter of right that the request for the parking variance be heard.
Okay, so why will we
That's
not,
it.
excuse me? Why will we not make
I was
a
gonna say-
zoning committee so that we can hear things like this? Because I'm not understanding the reasoning for getting smaller lots. Are they trying to build something? If so, what is it? Like, can someone explain this in detail, or nobody know all the details?
There is a drawing, trustee, attached to the ordinance in your board packet.
Yeah, I saw that.
And in a letter of
Trustee Hen-
explanation that was also in the packet last time. The reason that they're asking to reduce the number of spaces is because they're planning on building a freestanding retail building in the lot. If you look at the drawing, the new retail outlot building, it shows new building 3,000 square feet.
So why do we have to approve that they get less parking spaces? Why do we have to prove that?
You don't, but current village code requires so many parking spaces per square foot. And if this building is constructed, it would be less than the current code requires. That's why they're asking for a variance from the current code.
Okay.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, roll call.
On the motion to approve ordinance 20-012, trustee Dunn,
Aye.
trustee Steve,
Aye.
trustee House,
Aye.
trustee Brown,
Aye.
trustee Holmes,
Aye.
and trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Okay, 6 ayes, motion carried. Next thing is item C, ordinance number 20-013, authorizing the as-is sale of certain property at 14051 Lincoln Avenue. Make the motion.
Again, this was discussed at the previous meetings. This is the old Youth Commission building.
Right.
And the consensus of the board was to sell the property for $25,000. But in order to do that, it had to be voted on by ordinance.
So I'll motion to approve ordinance number 20-013.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, motion by trustee Howe, seconded by trustee Denton for the approval of ordinance number 20-013. The authorizes of as-is sale for certain real property at 14051 Lincoln Avenue. Any discussion, any further discussion, I should say?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Administrator Scott? Elizabeth, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
The question, from my understanding, that's going to, did the guy who's, I think you say he lives next door? Did he have any plan for that
And
property?
he lives, no, he just said he wanted to rehab it, and he is aware that it needs a lot of work. But he is interested in purchasing the property because of the fact that he lives next door to it. And it's, an eyesore for him.
Question, did he walk through it or check it out? He just want to buy it without opening the door?
He said that he peeked, he looked in because he lives next door, that he peeked in, but he hasn't had an inspection or anything like that done. But we aren't doing that. We're going to do it as is sale. So he is aware that it does need a lot of work, and I did explain that to him.
So as a caution for us as a village, why we want to make sure he got the money to do the work, If he gonna spend 25,000 to us to purchase it, that way it don't just sit there again for another year or two. If he had to come up with, say, 150, 200,000 put in the building, because from what I remember, it needed a ton of work and it had a lot of issues. It's why the village stopped doing whatever they was doing with it.
So he does have to bring it up to code in order for him to purchase the property. So there's a lot of things that he's gonna have to do to go through housing to bring it up to code. And like I said before, I did explain to him, he is gonna have a lot of work. He does do some of his own work. I don't know to what extent. So I do know he does do some handiwork. And that's as far as I know that is, but he did express to me that he is aware there's a lot of work that has to be done on the property. I expressed to him that's one of the reasons why we didn't complete the work, and he understood that. But it will be going back on the tax rolls, and he told us he will be maintaining it, and keeping the grass cut and things of that nature.
Did he give a timeline of scope of work or like anything? Which I know he ain't been in it, but I'm just saying he didn't give nothing. He just said he want to buy it. And that's it.
He didn't give us a timeline for the scope of work. I mean, I could follow up with him with that, but as far as he has to bring it up to code, which is a lot of electrical, all of that stuff. So, but I can follow up with him and let you know what he says, trustee.
Any further questions?
Yeah,
Roll
Mayor.
call.
Mayor, I just want to make a statement. Stop, Justice. I'm all for anybody that want to buy a property that's next door to their home, an eyesore or a vacant property. But I do believe as a village, we should post and let everybody know any village-owned property we have out there, because sometimes we can get more money for something instead of just a person come making us an offer and we accept it. So I wish moving forward, we do that. We post all village-owned property on our websites, on Channel 4, so people know that these items are available and let the person make different offers. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, so noted. All right, Madam Clerk, why don't you take the roll?
Trustee Denton,
Aye.
trustee Steve,
Aye.
trustee House,
Aye.
trustee Brown,
Aye.
trustee Holmes,
Aye.
trustee Henyard.
Aye.
6 ayes, motion carries. Item D, the approval of settlement, Blacher et al. Versus Village of Dalton. Can I get a motion on this?
Anyone having problems with their phone or something? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, trustee.
We can hear you.
Going in and out.
Can I get a motion on this item number D, the approval of a settlement Blacher et al. Versus the Village of Dalton?
A motion to approve the settlement Blacher et al. Versus the Village of Dalton.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor,
And that
trustee
would-
Brown.
Okay, trustee House is the motion, and it was seconded by trustee Brown. Any discussion on this matter?
Yeah, I got one question, Mayor. All the people that's listed in this lawsuit, didn't you keep them? That's when I was lost at. Did everybody still have their jobs, or what happened? Can you just explain?
Attorney Murphy?
Mr. Panettiere is on the line. He's the lawyer who handled the case for insurance. I turn it over to him.
Yes, trustee Henyard. All of the individuals except for one, I believe, have been rehired by the Village of Dalton.
I guess my question, just to get a little more clarity, is did they stop work ever, or did they resume? Because I could have sworn the mayor just kept everybody, even though the board said no. I thought he kept them. No?
Based on all of the records we have, the payroll records, et cetera, they did not, except for one of the plaintiffs, basically changed the position and started the next day. All of the other plaintiffs had time where they were away from employment altogether. And that is one of the reasons that the numbers came out the way they did, to try to compensate them for those losses.
Okay, do you have a time frame? Was it a month, 2 weeks,
Yes.
2 days? What?
We do have a time frame. As I said, one of them was the next day. Another was a couple of months where they were off. And then, as I said, one was not reinstated in any way. And then the other two had a fairly significant amount of time where they were not employed by the village. I don't have the exact dates. I can actually look those up though if you need me to.
No, I just need a time frame. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Denton,
I recuse myself.
abstain. Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee House,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee Holmes. Are you there, Trustee Holmes?
You're on mute, Trustee Holmes.
You're on mute, Trustee Holmes.
I'll come back in a moment. Trustee Henyard?
Question, I thought that Ed, they're supposed to vote on this. What y'all doing?
Ed can vote on it. He has no financial interest in the case. He
So
dropped
why
out
you-
of the case.
That don't sound right. Present.
Okay.
Trustee Holmes. Anybody's hearing from Trustee Holmes?
He's still on.
His
I
phone is
thought-
on, is still listed.
Looked like his lips were saying aye.
Mayor, you just gotta vote, that's all.
Trustee Holmes, you're on mute, both video and microphone. If you can hear me.
I don't think he wants to vote.
Okay, is that you, Trustee Holmes, coming in? Okay.
No, he's got everything turned off. I'm gonna ask John Murphy.
Give me a recapitulation, Mary Kay.
We have,
Denton was an abstain.
yes,
That-
Henyard
that-
is an abstention. So Steve, House, and Brown were ayes. So we have 3 ayes.
So they go with the majority. You've got 5 yeses.
Okay.
Okay, motion passed, 5 yeses.
Mine's is a present. I'm here for this vote. That's what I'm here for. I didn't vote no, I didn't vote yes. Y'all need to stop doing it.
Present and abstain mean the
Can
same
anybody
thing
hear
under the
me?
law.
Can
Yes.
anybody hear me?
There's
Yeah, we can hear
Trustee-
you now.
Trustee Holmes, we were doing the roll call on the approval of the settlement, Blacher et al. How do you vote?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Trustee Holmes votes aye. So we have 4 ayes. Motion carries.
All right, next thing on the agenda is new business. Resolution number 20R-005. Forgiving various interfund advances between the general fund and other village funds. Can I get a motion on this, Trustee House?
A motion that we approve resolution number 20R0015.
Is there a second?
Second.
And who was that? I couldn't. Is that Trustee Brown?
Trustee Brown. Yeah.
Okay, you kind of intermittent audio there. Okay, we got a motion, a first and a second motion on this. Forgiving of the various interfund advances between the general fund and other village funds. Any discussion on this?
Mayor, if I could be recognized.
Go ahead, Trustee House.
Okay, just briefly on this one, this was discussed at the Finance Committee meeting in July. So these are advances that have taken place from the general fund to our TIF funds.
That service, trustee. That service.
That service. Well,
Not
Chris,
TIF.
please elaborate for me on this one.
So in prior years, the debt service fund did not have sufficient real estate taxes to cover the debt payment. So the village general fund had to fund it, or you guys would not make your debt payment. So what we do is the general fund lends money to the debt service fund, so that way it can cover its debt obligation. Now, the village will only levy the exact amount of the subsequent year bond and interest payment, so it will never have enough money to repay the general fund. So standard accounting principles, if a receivable / payable is not collectible, you write it off. That's in essence what we are doing here. We are eliminating these interfund receivables and payables between the general fund and debt service that will never be repaid back.
And Chris, by debt service, you mean the bonds?
Yes, the bonds.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions on this? Any discussion? No further discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Denton,
Aye.
trustee Steve,
Aye.
trustee House,
Aye.
trustee Brown,
Aye.
trustee Holmes,
Aye.
and trustee Henyard.
Okay, motion carries 6 ayes. Next item on the agenda is the closure of bank accounts, item B. Chris, you want to talk about, or
Sure.
go ahead, trustee House.
I was just going to make the motion so we go into discussion for the closure of bank accounts.
Okay, go ahead.
So a motion to approve the closure of bank accounts.
A second.
Okay. Motion by trustee House, seconded by trustee Denson in regards to the closing. These are excessive bank accounts, I would imagine. But any discussion on this? No discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Denton,
Aye.
trustee Steve,
Aye.
trustee House,
Aye.
trustee Brown,
Aye.
trustee Holmes,
Aye.
and trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Item C, resolution number 20R-006, Class 8 for 1011 through 1019 East Sibley Boulevard.
Mayor, I believe Mr. Dodson and Mr. Sandrick from the Sandrick Law Firm are here to explain
Yes.
this item, the next two, and also I believe Mr. Dodson wanted to deal with the third one that's listed on the agenda for let's see, 14948 South Woodlawn first. That's the self-storage facility. If we may
Yes.
move to that.
Well, why don't we, before, since it's 3 separate items, if they want to discuss them one at a time, so we can vote on one at a time, because they have different situations.
Correct, but the ones, the first two, item C and D, do have resolutions in the board packet, but there is no resolution yet for E. So that one will have to be deferred to a later meeting.
Well,
But I would ask Mr. Dodson to elaborate, or Mr. Sandrick.
Mayor, this is Adam Dodson. I've got Bill Sandrick also on the line. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We're actually obtaining some more information for the Woodlawn property, so we'd like the board, if possible, to table this till the next meeting, and we'll go ahead with the other 2 applications after if indeed the village would entertain tabling this item for the next meeting.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. That's fine, but why don't we discuss this individually, because they all 3 have different situations that they're asking for the renewal. So
yes,
I'm sorry,
you're
not
correct,
just for the renewal, but for the approval of the Class 8. So why don't we start with item number C?
Okay.
1011, 1019. Now, you want to discuss it, or we'll get a motion and then discuss it? How should we do this?
Go ahead. You can go ahead and motion up, and then we'll discuss.
Okay. All right. Let's get a motion on item C, resolution number 20R-006, 1011, 1019 East Sibley Boulevard. Is there a motion?
Motion to pass resolution number 20R-006.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, trustee Steve, and it was the first motion. Trustee Denton seconded. Trustee Denton seconded the motion. And now we're gonna have discussion from the attorneys. And first of all, identify the back of that address at 10 and 11. Adam,
Is everyone?
Watson?
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Mayor is breaking up.
All right. If you're familiar with the strip center, this is the strip center with Dress and Press in it, along with several small operators that lease small spaces next to Dress and Press. To give you a clear indication of what's going on here, the smaller units are the Class 8 eligible properties right now. Dress and Press is at full value in regards to how it's assessed. And what we're looking for is a renewal for half of the building. And what this does for the property owner is it allows to keep the rents at a reasonable level at the location. But also what it does is create some codependency in regards to people going to the store as well as using the other strip center, parts of the strip center. So what we're hoping for this evening is a renewal of the Class 8 tax incentive, for the reason being is that Mr. Catania is the only clother that's in this community, and he's trying very hard to provide good service to the residents here. And with that, these units need to stay in play at the strip center. Bill and I would be happy to answer any questions in regards to this property as it relates to the Class 8.
Why don't you explain how long, what the renewal is explain the actual renewal process and the length of the renewal that you're requesting for.
Sure. This is a 10-year renewal through the county, and what we need is local support from the municipality in order to move forward to the assessor level. Again, we're in year 11 right now, and we're trying to get it renewed. And year 11 is at a 15% assessment, and next year it will go to a 20% assessment. I can tell you, right, Mr. Catania is, he's struggling. It's not an easy business to be in. And at this point in time, he's trying to keep his head above water. And hopefully what we can have here is some support to help these businesses stay in play here at this location.
How long has Dress and Press been in Dalton?
I don't have an idea of how long it's been there, Mayor.
Okay.
But I would say that as long as the Class 8 was in play.
Okay. Any other questions by the board?
I just have a concern, Mayor. If they've already been given a Class 8, they've already had 10 years with this tax incentive. We're going to continuously just keep giving these businesses Class 8 after Class 8. This is happening a lot. I just don't feel comfortable with continuously giving the same establishment. It's supposed to be for new startups. Well, they've been here. They've taken advantage of this incentive, and now they want to keep doing it. What about the other businesses that need to come into play that need it? So I just had a concern with that.
Mayor, can I add, the fact is that the county allows for the renewal for the sheer fact that, again, we know and understand that county taxes are a hard, a hard activity to go up against. But I think at the end of the day, what we're looking for here is that the county allows for renewals, and what we're asking for is for the municipality itself to take a look at this renewal and be able to move forward. We understand that, hey, we've all got things that we're fighting for, and understanding your agenda and seeing it tonight, we all have struggles, and we understand what that is. But in particular for a business, taxes is a fight every year. The benefit of having the Class 8 is to stay in business. It's not to take advantage of anybody or anything. It's to actually to be competitive in the market. And again, we all can have differences of opinion on this, but we do renewals quite a bit, and every community is different. And we understand, again, that the Village of Dalton is having some financial issues, but the fact remains is that if indeed these Class 8s start disappearing on some of these establishments, we're going to start seeing some influx of vacancies on these properties just because you can't collect rent and taxes at the same time if they're both out of control. And again, Mr. Catania, he's the operator of not only the Dress of Impress store, he's also the operator, landlord for the properties that are adjacent to him. So, you know, knowing this, he's got a very large investment here in the community, and he's trying to keep this clothing store open.
I got a question. Attorney Murphy, could you chime in on, is this normal practice with Class 8s throughout, you know, from your history and your experience as far as renewing Class 8, or is Class 8 something that's supposed to be just for a period of time? Could you just elaborate on your experience with that?
Yeah, there's certainly nothing unusual up in the south suburbs about property owners seeking to renew their Class 8. Let me just want everybody to see me, say hi. There's nothing unusual about this in the south suburbs. Many of the Class 8s, not only in Dalton, but throughout the area, are that were given a decade ago, are reaching a point where they're eligible for renewal. The county, this is a county incentive program to keep commercial businesses afloat. And remember, with Class 8, what it's designed to do, we've talked about this on a number of occasions, is to kind of equalize the playing field between businesses in suburbs like Dalton, where the tax rate is very high, and other suburbs like Orland Park, where the tax rate is considerably lower. This does not result in any loss of property tax revenue to the village. Instead, what it does, it results in an assessment of this commercial business more like as if it were a house. And that reduces the overall property taxes that the business owner has to pay. And of course, with commercial property, in the case of rentals, those are always paid by the tenant. So if the taxes are too high, it forces the tenant out of the market and it results in a vacancy. So that's the rationale with Class 8. That's the rationale for the county incentivizing these extensions. So that's a long way of saying certainly nothing unusual about that, particularly in the south suburban area.
That cleared up for you, Trustee?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Attorney Murphy, this is Trustee Brown. I have a question. Does
Yes.
it have to be a 10-year span?
Yeah, that's the way the county structures it. So that's the normal extension term that the county approves. Remember, the final decision belongs to the county, but the county requires that there be support from what they call the host municipality. So probably, for so many of our smaller commercial businesses, they need this assistance now more than ever because of the result of the pandemic, which results in lower sales, longer time to rebound, higher overhead, and anything that can be done to maintain the taxes at the current rate. That's what's going on here with an extension of the Class 8. It maintains the taxes at the rate they've been paying for the last decade. So these are reasonable requests, particularly when you're talking about a business that's been here for a long time and does supply sales tax revenue to the village. So we benefit both from the store being filled for property tax payment, and better to get 60% of a vacant property than nothing. Also remember that on the overall tax bill, I think we're maybe 20%. So it doesn't really affect our overall tax revenues, but if it keeps a commercial business in operation, it keeps sales tax revenue coming into the village, which is probably the more important revenue and the more important thing for the community to have as much commerce as possible and continue in town.
Thank you, Attorney Murphy.
Yes, okay. Is that enough for discussion? Can you hear me?
Yes, Mayor. Can hear you now.
Okay, you want to take a roll? You want to take a roll on that?
Okay, and roll call to approve Class 8 renewal for 1011 to 1019 East Sibley Boulevard. Trustee Denton,
Aye.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee House,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee Holmes,
Aye.
and Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries. Success. Item D, resolution number 20R-007, Class A for 1254 East Sibley. Mr. Dotson?
Yeah, thank you. This is the former Mobile Concepts property. It's been vacant for 2 years now. The group called J&J Electronics would like to purchase the property, and they're requesting a Class 8. The things that they'll be doing there, they'll be doing something very similar to what Mobile Concepts was doing. They were selling audio equipment as well as any other accessories to a vehicle. One of the things that they're going to be adding here is doing detailing and some light auto repair. The reason being is that they do customization work, so they want to be able to have that ability to have that those types of activities inside the building. One of the things that they're going to be adding on is that they do have another location in the city in the south area, and they do quite a bit of marine boats. So what they're hoping here, being based upon that there's marinas down in this particular area, that they'll be able to pick up business by detailing boats as well as large boats in their garage area. So they do have a sales tax component. They're looking at probably sales this year at about $500,000 once they get in, and then growing from there. I think what they want to do is that, as they've already explained to themselves, is that they've already reached out to some of the property owners nearby and looking to find ways to work with them to grow their business, whether it be a food operator where the customer will be here for a couple hours, they can sit down, have something to eat while their vehicle is getting worked on. So knowing that the last user had 2 locations, he decided to close this one just due to economics, but we have an opportunity here to get a lost business use that'll be in this building with what it was designed for originally. And with that, we hope that you would entertain the Class 8.
I got a question.
Okay, why don't we get a motion on this before we start this? Hello?
Motion to approve resolution number 20R-007.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay.
All right, I got a question.
Motion and a second. Motion by Trustee Steve, seconded by
Trustee Denton.
Trustee Denton. Okay. Why don't we go for it?
I got a question. Can y'all hear me?
Go ahead, Trustee Steve.
All right. Hey, what's his name? Adam?
Yeah.
So you said a lot about the business that's going to be going there. Is there anything specific in writing that we can get to say it's going to be this? You went from the shop to the boats you went to a lot of things. Is there anything specific that we can get per se before we gave you this Class 8? Is there anything in writing that maybe I missed that say it's going to be this?
Yes, they do have a website. We can give you that information so you can actually research it. Also, I believe, Jay, are you on the line? Is Jay on Zoom? Okay. He's not on the line, but he'd be happy to explain it because the fact is that they've been in business for several years at this other location. So Trustee Steve, yes, we can actually provide that information for you.
Is there
Go ahead, Trustee.
Is there a time limit on this? Do we have to pass this the night before we even have to look at it? Can we kind of table this till we can look at everything before we pass this Class 8?
Sure. We'd be happy to, like I said, as long as we have the ability to work with you and see if indeed you need more information, we'll be happy to provide it.
Okay. So I make a motion to table this Class 8.
Okay, can I make a suggestion before we get the motion voted on? Mr. Dotson, being that this is a new business and you're requesting a Class 8 on this, I would suggest that in putting the package together, that the Class A be considered contingent upon the exact business that's gonna go there. For example.
It is.
We don't
Yeah.
want to give an approval on a Class A, and then all of a sudden, they're not doing electronics, they're doing something else. And in the agreement, put in the specific use of the building for the duration of the Class A. And if any time that varies, or there's a variance of that business, then we have the right to extinguish the Class A.
Certainly, you can add that, and as opposed to tabling, you can make that part of the motion.
Well, I would suggest that we still table it, but put that in play before we vote on it.
Okay.
Where is that second location located at?
We'll get you the address. It's in the city. It's not too far away from the marinas.
And then what you could do is,
Mayor, I
you know,
got some.
if the board, if the board wants to table this, then after you get the whole proposal together, appear at the county at the COW meeting and explain it to the extent to the board, that extent to the board.
Sure.
Okay. Trustee Henry?
Yes.
Comment?
Okay, this for the record. What I'm noticing or learning about my board is that certain people come before us and we agree, and certain people, you put them through the loopholes. And what I mean by that is we voted for, what is that place on Sibley? It's a car place, O'Reilly's, to come in town. And I asked the same questions that Ed is asking. Mayor, who's coming? We should table it if we don't know who it is. You guys would not respond or answer it. You guys still chose to vote for it, and the board didn't even know what company was coming there, and we gave them a Class A. So here we are. Y'all had this information, like y'all tell me anything. We had this information for a week now, well, since Thursday, and you could have asked questions, got information, and now you're telling this person to table what you didn't table for somebody else. I don't think that's right.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion, trustee, but there was, and John Murphy, Attorney Murphy, I want you to chime in on this. The reason why there was no full disclosure at that time.
Mayor,
Well-
we're the board. If you want us to
Trustee-
vote for something, I
trustee-
can't vote for
trustee.
something I don't know about. So
Trustee.
it was a secret to the board, not the people, but the board didn't even know what we was voting on. But the board voted for it for you, is my point. And they didn't even know what they was
Trustee.
voting on. So here
Trustee.
we are. We know we voting on here, but y'all saying table. I'm just showing people
well-
how y'all put people through stuff. That's my point.
Trustee Henyard, you got to speak for yourself when you say we
Thank
didn't know.
Thank you.
I knew, and I wasn't the only trustee that knew O'Reilly's was coming, but the disclosure wasn't everybody. Now, if you didn't know about it, I can't speak to that.
Well,
All
I'm
saying
glad
is
you
I
said
knew-
that. It showed you
I
that he
knew
only
exactly
talked to
what
certain
I was-
trustees. So you knew, but I didn't know. I asked. So what was the secret for y'all to know and not me to know? But I'm a vote. That's my point. Too many games.
One of the things about this democracy, trustee Henry, is that you have the right to vote, or you have the right to abstain, or you have a right to vote for or against. Now, one of the things that was discussed was the disclosure. When we voted on, when the board voted on the Class A. Now, and Attorney Murphy, can you just elaborate a little bit why that happened that way and
Well, a few things. With O'Reilly's, remember, that was property that the village actually owned, and that we negotiated that with the South Suburban Land Bank. I think more to the point for this proposal here is that O'Reilly's is a national company that enters into long-term leases. So everybody knew what O'Reilly's was all about and what we could expect in terms of sales tax. I think the point the board's making, and the applicant's perfectly happy to do so, is the board wants to be educated about what the business plan is of this company, because this company is not O'Reilly's. It's not a national chain. And the applicant is perfectly willing to have the applicant come to the COW meeting in 2 weeks. So I think, seems everybody's really in agreement on this.
That wasn't my point. I'm in agreement with whatever the person that put on the agenda wants to do. My point was how y'all play the game. That was my point. So they add you in it when they're trying to get a better clarity, but it's no better clarity because some trustees knew, since Ed's speaking, he knew, but nobody else knew. So that means Riley is a bad leader. He don't supposed to talk to certain trustees
Thank
and don't
you,
tell the
trustee.
other trustees.
Thank
That's
you,
my
trustee
point.
Henry. Thank you, trustee.
You're
Henry.
welcome.
Comment.
Anytime.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, there's a motion on the floor to table this. Can I get a second? Is there a second? Is there a second on this?
Second to table the discussion to the next board meeting.
Okay, it's a motion. It's a first and a second to table this matter. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
With me. On the motion to table, item D, Class A for 1254 East Sibley Boulevard. And I make sure I have that right. Motion by trustee to table, trustee Steve, and second by trustee Brown.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Roll call, trustee Denton,
Aye.
trustee Steve,
Aye.
trustee House,
Aye.
trustee Brown,
Aye.
trustee Holmes,
Aye.
Henry, trustee Henry.
Present.
Motion carries 5-5. Next petition is, we've noted that item E has been asked to be basically tabled, and that's by the presenter. Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Withdrawn by
Next.
request.
Yes. Next one is item F, approval of paycheck proposal for services, the time clock. Is there a motion on the floor?
A motion that we approve the paycheck proposal for services or time clock.
Okay, trustee House, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, trustee House, for the paycheck proposal, seconded by trustee Holmes. Any discussion on this matter?
Yes.
Mayor, do believe we have a representative online from the company, but I'll defer to Ms. Scott on that.
Okay.
Clerk Duke. So we have Goico. Goico, please forgive me. Hamakar from Paychex. He's the representative for Paychex that we've been working with. We currently use Paychex for our pay stubs for everyone for their pay. However, as we discussed in the committee of the whole, per the trustees, we wanted to look into how much it would cost in order for us to implement this. The 7 clocks would be $490 per month. In addition to that, Goico, do you have the exact amount of how much it would cost per month? I believe it's around $800.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody, for having us here. I appreciate you guys as a client of ours. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm on the screen as well.
I don't see you, but I hear you fine.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So yeah, the services there, with the time clocks included with the rentals there, it comes out to, let me get this up here really on my side here. It's $32.46 a month. And then what we're doing also, we have a COVID relief program for our clients. We're doing all services, including your payroll charges. We would leave that as well too to help you guys out from that side as well too. But the biggest thing there, it's going to help with accountability. We're going to go ahead and make sure we're tracking time, vacation time. You know, if there's been issues with maybe that not being tracked properly or things of that nature, efficiency is a real big thing. I think when we talked in our meetings, it was about 16 hours per pay period, about 32 hours per month, and roughly $110 per hour. That's going to come down to a very conservative estimate, about 12 hours a month instead of 32. So a lot of savings there of $2,200 as well from the ad aspect. And then we're also going to include your W-2s on this platform from the technology aspect. That's going to save you guys about $1,573 a year. And that's going off of last year's W-2 totals. We had 208 W-2 employees. So obviously that could go up and down an employee here and there from that side of it. So, but I hope that helps from that aspect there. But we'll definitely help with accountability, efficiency, and you also have support too with the time clock as well. There's policies in place. You'll have a professional helping you put that in place for vacation policies, sick time, and COVID-related items as well too. We're going to have that updated for you guys as well too.
And I also wanted to add that the time actually, although that is the amount of time and money that we have Kasperic working on the timesheets, not to mention the cost of compiling and storing the timesheets, the hard copies, the potential inaccurate reporting of time, and the subsequent correction of inaccurately paid employees, I believe will save us thousands of dollars in the long run.
Okay. I'm sorry. How do you pronounce your last name? I'm just going to.
Pamukar.
Okay. All right.
The top line.
You talk about COVID relief concessions. How long would the contract be? How long would the COVID relief concessions be in place? And if there is some difference in the current situation in regards to COVID, does that mean that the price increases, the reliefs will not be still in the package, or what?
Great question. Yeah, so the relief currently, it's 2 months of complimentary service. So that's the time clock, the support, and including your current services you guys are getting right now as well too. From your payroll, we're obviously servicing you there, and also employer share responsibility. That's 2 months. And then also there's a 40% discount attached to that as well too. So that's typically a year on the price side, but there is no contract. With Paychex, what's nice about us, we've been around, gosh, over 40 years now. So we actually, our agreement is based on our service. And what that means is it's per pay period. So we're basically just tied in for your next payroll. So the nice part is, for whatever reason, not that this would happen, but if for whatever reason you want to change services, you're not obligated to stay with Paychex. But obviously, we've been with you guys, appreciate partnership for over 3 years now. So it's been a nice side on our end here.
So maybe I missed it. The COVID relief package itself is worth how much?
So that roughly with the cost, it's about $1,000, $1,046.26 per month, with the relief discounts and so forth. There is a one-time setup fee that is $1,000, and we could spread that over 4 months or even defer it for 2 months if needed as well too.
So after this COVID is over, hopefully that it'll be over. That means that we can look forward to an increase of approximately $1,000 a month?
Correct. Yep, exactly. And that is factoring in right now with your current payroll processes, with the time it's spent to do it manually. But it's not considering actually time potential mismanagement of vacation hours not being identified, if people are taking more time, more sick time, maybe clocking in late. We couldn't really find a piece on there, but I know we did identify that there's a lot of time that's not being tracked properly that could add up to, like Elizabeth said, thousands of dollars as well too.
Yeah, I can understand that. I agree with that. I was just looking for, so that the contract is going to be for a year initially, and if the COVID epidemic is kind of subsided in that time period, we can look for an additional increase of about $12,000 annually on the contract.
Correct. Yeah, but just know the rate is locked in for 12 months, and typically what happens, there is no contract though. So just if whatever 6 months down the road, if you're like, the budget change or for whatever reason, you're not locked in to pay $12,000 in an annual fee. If that makes sense. And then after 12 months, you guys been a client with us a long time. We'll do our best to keep it at that 40% discount for you guys as well too, to help the village out. And I'm here local. I understand, the dynamics. I'm here in Northwest Indiana, so I'm here local and trying to help my local clients. I've helped over 300 clients here locally in the Chicago suburbs, so definitely want to do the best for you guys.
That's fine. I just want to be clear up front. Yeah, I think it's after the explanation. Relief kind of price for it. Now we don't get blind on the end. We say, okay, hey, everybody's cured, COVID's over, $12,000 interest on the contract. So Just want to make that clear up front. And if we can get out of it, somewhere else, or maybe going forward, you can say there's a bundle package that we do this for you, and we'll bond it together and be conservative on the service. Any questions?
Mayor, can I be recognized?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, a couple of things on there. I want to kind of give some thanks to the Administrator Scott and Chris for kind of pushing this initiative forward. I think one of the big things that we talked about is the money that we save in terms of the accurate reporting. So I think those things that are kind of unmanaged will cure themselves or will pay for themselves on this process. I think even though we're at this point, the hard work would still be ahead. So I know you mentioned on-site help to make sure that we get that. And I think it's really important that everybody embraces the process to make it a little bit more smoother so we can recognize the savings sooner than later. So that's just kind of my comments on it, but I think this is a great step forward so that we can have accurate reporting, more efficient, and make sure that the village is being responsible.
One question I have, Administrator Scott, what was the savings we will have with the Conspira Group? I know we will have a savings if we go this route, correct?
Yeah, so Chris would have to give you the breakdown when he sends the weekly reports of the amount of hours that he works, trustees. If you all would review that, you can see, I think it's roughly between 8 and 10 hours. So you can divvy up that. I also wanted to add that we were looking to hire someone. We typically have always had someone to assist with payroll. That position pays over $30,000 a year. So we're also looking to save that as well.
I don't think this will totally eliminate that person from doing those accounting practices that we need to get done to try to save on expense. This is going to be a great tool for us, but I don't think it's going to eliminate that total person being there.
Am I hearing you right? You're saying that you want to keep the person there and not utilize the time clock to its potential? Am I hearing you right?
You're not hearing me right. I said, I think it's a great tool for us to have, but I don't think it would eliminate the total position of having a person in that accounting position. Because there were some other duties that that person did other than payroll. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I can chime in on that one. No, this is a great tool. I think when we're talking to the finance committee, the recommendation would still be that we have that position, and that position would reduce the amount of money that we're spending with the Conspira Group. This would allow for us to consolidate some of the responsibilities of managing time cards, and as well as the paperwork. But we still would need somebody that can do the accounts payable and then make sure that the paycheck system is being managed properly and that the supervisors are going in. So it'll automate it, it'll reduce time significantly, but I would still suggest that we hire that position, but that position would be offset by the savings that we would see with Conspirix Group, because we are paying them currently $25,000 to $30,000 per month. They have been giving us discounts monthly on their bill, but they're still putting a significant amount of time in. So I think we would need both, but the overall savings that we would get from Conspirix team would more than justify the expense.
Okay, I agree with that.
And quick question: Does this company provide service for any other clients, any other municipalities, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I mentioned, I've worked with about 300 plus clients in the Chicagoland area. Municipalities, I know Fort Heights is a client of ours, if I could say them as well too, off the top of my head on that side as well. But we have. So we've helped, not-for-profits, for-profits, municipalities. For paychecks, I'm here locally in Chicagoland area. We have as a company over 680,000 clients throughout the country. which we're very proud of. So, you know, being a Fortune 1000 company. So, you know, we're the experts at this, and you know, we appreciate, you know, working with a lot of our local organizations here.
Okay, well, for me, I support this fully. I think we are in desperate need of time clock management. I wish we would have had this sooner. We've been crying for something like this. I'm glad it's on the agenda, and I pray and hope everybody votes for this. I think it will stop a lot of the issues we have, such as ghost payroll and other issues as it relates to time management. But welcome aboard.
Okay, any other further discussion? Okay, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor, did I miss the motion in a second?
There was a motion and a second. I believe it was.
I made, Trustee House made the motion.
Yeah,
Trustee
Trustee
House?
House. And then Trustee Denton, I believe it was.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Trustee Denton, that was correct, yes?
No, it wasn't me.
No.
Trustee. Was it who was the second?
It was Trustee Holmes.
Trustee Holmes was the second. Okay.
Thank you. And roll call, Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee House,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee Holmes,
Aye.
and Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 6 ayes. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is the mayor's report. I don't have too much tonight other than to say that I hope everyone is maintaining their social distancing and trying to stay safe at home. Also, it's the governor's order that we mandatory to wear masks that when we're outside. So make sure that you have your mask on. If there's any need or anyone needs a mask, they can contact my office at area code 708-201-2995. You can call our office and we'll make sure that you can get a mask or come by the office and get a mask. The other thing is that we're continuing to give food away on Saturday mornings at the Melanie Fitness Center from 9 o'clock until supplies last. We're actually passing out approximately 1,000 to 1,200 boxes of food and also 1,000 gallons of milk every Saturday. Last Saturday, we did not have any milk due to the holiday. So cars line up as early as 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. But once we start moving at 9 o'clock, we get through the line pretty quickly. That's about all I have to say is that, stay safe. And if there's any problems in the area, make sure you call the police. Giovanni, citizens address is next.
Okay.
Mayor, can I be recognized right before citizens address?
Go ahead, Trustee House.
One comment before citizens address, and I spoke a little bit with Giovanni. I had a couple of residents that were having difficulty chiming in during the finance committee meeting for the live feed. So I did speak with our communications director. Some thought they may be blocked, but Giovanni informed me that nobody is blocked from being able to make comments. And if there's any issues with making comments, while it may not be beneficial tonight, that you can send an email into communications@vodalton.org, and they will work with you to resolve any issues on communicating during citizens address. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I ask you a question in reference to the fire that was at Dalton Liquors? Do you have any information as to what may have happened?
I do not. The fire department was in contact with certain agencies. We have DC Rush actually she's online here with us for virtual. Maybe he can provide some additional information in regards to that.
Okay, at this particular time, we don't have any other additional information regarding how the fire started, but we have the the Mavis 24 investigation team, as well as the State Fire Marshal's Office, in line with that right now to determine the cause. And that's the information we have at this particular point in time.
Were there any injuries?
No, there were no injuries to civilian or firefighter personnel.
Thank God. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Giovanni, next thing is the citizens address. Are you getting any comments?
Yes, we have several questions. The first set of questions is in regards to item D regarding the settlement. And the question is, somebody wants to know what happened during the settlement. Was it a wrongful termination suit? And isn't Illinois an at-will employment state?
Attorney Murphy? Sometimes he goes off at the citizens address or for citizens address.
I believe Joe Panatera is still on the line.
Okay, is he?
Appears to be.
Yes, Mayor, I am still here.
Okay, did you hear the questions?
I did hear the question. The complaint that was filed in federal court and is based on an alleged violation of First Amendment rights of freedom of speech and assembly. If that answers the question.
All right. The next question is, when will there be information sent out to the residents about how to read meters officially?
Okay, I don't think any information to the residents. I know it has appeared on Channel 4 in '99. Was there anything on the website,
About how to read the meter?
Giovanni?
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
No, not on how to read the meters.
What we can do is include that in the next billing that goes out. And the billings go out at 3 different times. You get 3 different districts that go out, but we can't put it in the billing on how to read the meters.
Okay. The next question is, can Melanie Fitness be taken off of Groupon since it's not going to reopen?
I can answer that. That has been a problem since I got elected to get it off Groupon. We've tried to, we have to call the corporate office because we couldn't just delete it. It was done by a former employee. So I just have to, we spent months on trying to get it off contact. So I just have to dip back into it and try to maybe go a higher route than I got to the corporate offices, but it was crazy because they were saying you can't take it off, but it doesn't make no sense. But it was done by somebody who doesn't work here no more, and we didn't have the log information and like that to take it off. So we'll get back on that.
Okay, the next question is, did the back taxes on the property the village sold for $25,000 get waived, or will the buyer be responsible for them?
Well, actually, and I haven't checked this, there should be no taxes on the property home. If it's a municipal home, it's tax exempt. Mary Kay, do you know if in fact it's been listed as municipal property and it's tax exempt?
Yes, Mayor, it is.
Okay, so there are no back taxes on the property.
Correct.
Thank you. The next question, who manages the inventory of property owned by the village? Because there appears to be a disconnect. Is there a documented process or procedure that must take place before a property is listed or sold?
Sharon, are you there?
Yes, I am, Mayor. I'm sorry. What was the question again? Giovanni?
Sure. It says, who manages the inventory of property owned by the village because there appears to be a disconnect? Is there a documented process or procedure that must take place before a property is listed and or sold?
Well, in regards to policy and procedure, usually in regards to properties owned by the village, I find out usually from either Mary Kay or anyone involved that is planning to let me know if this building is going to, or the property is going to be sold at some point. So it's random because we work by various addresses. Half the time I know which ones are owned by the village, and then it's not until after we start looking up information that I know it's owned by the village. So I don't have an accurate list, but it is something that I could probably generate at some point by way of looking it up through our housing app, and or we usually have another technique by looking through Locust too, by the names and finding out how many properties are owned by the village.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, how is the payroll the same as previous months, considering that people have been laid off?
I wouldn't say it was the same. Chris, are you there?
Yes, so the payroll that didn't change, the layoffs occurred earlier in the year. There wasn't subsequent layoffs after that round that happened when the village did their layoffs. So that's why the payroll is consistently the same. If you're referencing to the Melanie, the reason why that stayed the same, if the question wasn't referenced specifically to Melanie, the 2 employees who work there, they're the only 2 employees who work there. That's why it's the exact same payroll each month for those, if that's what the question was specifically in relation to.
Okay, even though the Melanie is closed, there's still 2 employees there that maintain the property. So that's why it's the same if you're talking about the Melanie. Other than that, I would think that the other payroll had made some changes due to the layoff. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Chris.
Yes, there was cost savings in payroll, but those would have been reflected a few months back when the layoffs were actually occurred. Now the layoffs were done. So whatever cost savings the village has seen, it would have happened earlier when the payrolls were what they were.
Okay. The next question is a follow-up regarding the property. And the question is, shouldn't we know what we own, referring to the properties owned by the village?
I can respond to that, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Yes, we should. And we have not always. So I have been in the process of identifying and cross-referencing our records. Since we own properties, we do have insurance on them. So that's one list that it has been generated. Not all properties that are listed as title to the village have been listed as tax exempt, so we still get tax bills. And so I'm finding properties, and we're getting tax bills for properties that it turns out we're not on a list, or some that were on a list. But even if they are on a list, we've been delinquent in getting the taxes waived on those. So yes, we are in the process of having a master list, status list compiled.
Okay.
One question I have, Clerk Dugan, even though the village say we can own some properties, aren't we still in court for some of the properties also?
Yes, those would be the properties acquired by the village through the BP capital agreement, and the status of those properties, other than the ones that we have already conveyed out pursuant to the agreement before it was terminated, the status of those properties is still in litigation and uncertain until the litigation is resolved.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is asking for a follow-up regarding item D on the agenda. And the question is, can you please provide details of the settlement, who it's for, and why there was a lawsuit?
Well, I don't think we can provide that now. I'm not sure if that's subject to FOIA, but I don't think we can provide it in detail tonight at length. Is the attorney still on the? Yes.
Yes, Mayor, I am still available here. Mr. Murphy, I don't believe is here, and I would defer to Mr. Murphy as the village attorney But there is a partial confidentiality language within the settlement agreement. So I would defer to Mr. Murphy on how the village should interpret that and whether it should be provided through an open board meeting such as this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
The next question, is the water department conducting shutoffs?
The answer is yes.
Okay, and then there's another question that asks for clarity. They may have missed it earlier, to determine whether the engineer or the public works determine which streets would get repaired.
Well, it's actually the engineer in Public Works goes out and evaluates the situation, and then it's determined based upon the engineer's evaluation in regards to the streets that are the worst.
Okay. And let's see, I think there's one more question. Someone asked about the having access to the board packet that the board members received, and they would like to know if that information can be made available for residents in addition to the agenda.
Madam Clerk?
That would be a determination of the board. The agenda, of course, is made public. The individual packet items can, in theory, be made public, not all, because some, as the settlement agreement is an example, are confidential. But that would be a function of staff having the time to post that on the website once the agenda is completed, which is generally the Thursday before the meeting. And sometimes it's quite voluminous.
Lengthy. Yeah. Go ahead, Giovanni.
Let me see. That might be I'll check, see if there's any more question. That's it. That's the last question.
Okay. There's no executive session tonight. I'd like to get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn this evening's board meeting.
Second.
Was that by? Okay, Trustee Brown, was that you?
Yes, it was,
that
Mayor.
Trustee Brown? Okay.
Yeah.
You coming in intermittently, your audio is intermittently here. I couldn't understand. Okay, I just been motion to adjourn by Trustee Brown and seconded by Trustee Steve. Roll call.
Trustee Denton,
Aye.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee House,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee Holmes,
Aye.
and Trustee Henry.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 6 ayes. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. This meeting is adjourned.